session items, including superintendent's resignation.
I move to approve the superintendent's separation and retirement agreement regarding Dr. Trent Lvisd as discussed in closed session.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you. And we have a joint statement. Dr. Trent Lvisd has announced he is medically prescribed retirement from service as an educator in the state of Texas, and has submitted his resignation to serve as superintendent of schools for Livonia Independent School District, effective December 20, 2019. This will allow Dr. Lvisd the ability to attend to his continuing health care as required by law pursuant to the provisions of the Family Medical Leave Act. The board and Dr. Lvisd wish to acknowledge and recognize the teachers, principals, administrators, staff, students, parents, and patrons who have all contributed to the district's success. We are thankful for your support and look forward to the bright future of Lvisd. Now we'll move into the investigation. Mr. Perez.
Okay. All right, a statement from the board. It's a little long, so please bear with me. Dear Lvisd community, the Board of Trustees would like to provide an update to our review and subsequent investigation regarding allegations pertaining to Dr. Trent Lvisd. As a reminder, and per past statements, the Board is committed to taking any and all allegations against district personnel seriously. We will always act with a deliberate abundance of caution to protect the safety of our students and staff when investigating these matters. We would like to thank the Livonia ISD community for their patience as we work to ensure our actions represented a comprehensive review, as well as work with appropriate agencies also involved in this fair and impartial process. After receiving an update from the Livonia Police Department at our last meeting, we communicated to them that we will continue to cooperate as necessary. The TEA has also submitted a subpoena to Livonia ISD regarding a review of Dr. Lvisd, and we will work diligently with them as appropriate. We want to acknowledge there were students and parents who expressed feelings of discomfort regarding Dr. Lvisd. It is our intention to ensure all students feel comfortable and safe while attending Livonia ISD, and will always support students when they voice their concerns. In addition, we also want to note the discovery of infractions pertaining to social media usage, which violated rules as outlined in our employee handbook. As we move forward, the Board of Trustees will continue working with the school administration to ensure proper training is accomplished, as well as ensure policies and procedures are followed and enforced. The board also appreciates those students as well as community members who provided input recently during the public comments portion of our board meetings. Because we are elected by and are held accountable to the community, it is vital to hear their input. Livonia ISD is committed to maintaining our core values and ethics. If we as a district find areas requiring improvement, it is important to acknowledge these areas and work to resolve, grow, and improve in all aspects related to Livonia ISD. The Board of Trustees will continue to work hard to maintain the trust and commitment of the district we were selected to serve. Livonia ISD Board of Trustees. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Now we'll be moving on to the remainder of our agenda. We're going to start out with board celebrations. Does anybody have anything they would like to share? One thing I would like to do is thank all of the campuses for their Veterans Day programs. Year after year, I believe it gets better. Partial to the intermediate school, I think that was the campus that kicked it off several years ago, and they do an incredible job every year. But every campus does something, and it's nice to be out in town, and several people mentioned how terrific those programs are, and it's just nice for those veterans to get acknowledged and those families that show up. It's a terrific day for everybody, so thank you all for putting that together.
I was able to attend a theater arts department play program when I played. I'm not sure, but that was it was pretty cool seeing the live performance of that group. The stage props, the way the kids interacted, it was very, very good. So I commend that department for that performance.
I'd also like to celebrate all the great performance that our sports teams have had recently, volleyball and football. They both had wonderful seasons. The debate team has done very well recently, and they have some students that qualified for state competition. I also recently saw the Livonia Intermediate had Special Olympics volleyball that performed very well and succeeded. So kudos to all of our great students continuing the great work of Lvisd. Make us proud.
Thank you. So we'll move on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Wood?
Okay, good evening, everyone. Have several celebrations that have already been started to celebrate. Our Lady Bear volleyball team fought hard during their 3 games during the regional tournaments. We lost last Friday to the Full Street Chargers. They are an incredible team, precision, perfect, and so much fun to watch and cheer on. So congratulations to all of our volleyball team girls and our coaches, Teresa Reyes, Robbie Glasscock, and Casey Miller. An incredible season this year. Also, our football team made it. They've surprised many people by making it to the football playoffs. After reloading approximately 28 students who were graduating seniors, most of whom were starters last year. So we were quite pleased that our team made it to the playoffs this past week. We lost to the Lions, but congrats to our team, all of our players and coaches that worked towards that. We would also like to thank the community for coming out to support all of our teams who went to the playoffs. We had an incredible turnout every single game, so thank you for just showing up in that really important way. I would also like to give a shout out to our transportation department, Jason Scheel and his entire team, who actually managed to get all of our athletes where they need to be, while also transporting all of our students, AM and PM, simultaneously. So big shout out to Jason Scheel and his team. Basketball, we've hit it hard this past week. Our boys varsity basketball team kicked off their season with a win against Canyon Lake on Friday. Final score was Livonia 67, Canyon Lake 47. It was a great night. Our girls varsity basketball team also had their first win of the season. They beat Lytle with a final score of 62-38. So basketball is off to a great start. We also had 3 students, high school students last week, 3 seniors who committed to playing softball during the 2021 season next year at the following universities. We had Madison Blunt, who committed to Louisiana Monroe. We had Reagan Burleson, who committed to Northwestern Oklahoma State. And then Jamie Gilbert, who committed to the University of Texas in San Antonio. So congratulations to the 3 of them. And then our Special Olympics volleyball team won first place. So that was phenomenal. We have a great picture of that group. There's one more right there. Yeah. So congratulations to all of our kiddos who participated. We're very, very proud of our Special Olympians. Go Bears. And then moving on to UIL, we had this past Thursday, we had our regional Congress team competed in the Region 20 UIL Congress competition. We had a very respectable showing. Justin Guzman placed first, Reese Smith placed second, and Tobin Mills placed fourth, and Jake Wildenstein placed fifth. We also had freshman Wyatt Hill, who was a finalist. That's pretty incredible. Justin and Reese will go on to represent us at the state meet in January. So congrats to all of our students who made it that far, and of course our very own Noah Recker. And then this just in. This was just kind of hot off the press this afternoon. Our very own Coach Chris Tabor was designated as a nominee for the 2019 UIL Sponsor Excellence Award. Congratulations to Coach Tabor. The winners for this distinguished award will be announced in January. So we appreciate very much the high standards that you set and hold for our students, our coaches, our schools, and our community. So thank you. And then Veterans Day, so I'm kind of echoing what our 4 campuses continue the Livonia tradition of honoring our veterans, our United States veterans, with incredible programs and presentations. We had student-led tributes on every single one of our campuses with poems, heartfelt letters read by staff member whose son is currently deployed. Lori Bowenkoff, I saw you walking through somewhere. We had an electric guitar version of the national anthem played by one of our staff members. Our junior high and high school bands played the Armed Services Medley. Our junior high and high school choirs performed beautifully, and then the entire intermediate school and everyone who was in the auditorium passionately performed Lee Greenwood's Proud to be an American. It was a tearful yet beautiful day celebrating the brave men and women who protect our country and all that it stands for. So again, thanks to our 4 campuses and all the hard work to put that together, and thanks again to all of our veterans. Other news, we met with all of our principals to set TPES goals and objectives for the year. We're also working on our key work processes with all of our cabinet, which is work that helps us to continue our key work, which is basically defining our lanes and then those who we serve in different parts of our work. I was also invited to a Texas PTA Superintendent Straight Talk. It was a group of superintendents from both Wilson and Bexar County, and we met on Friday. The Texas PTA is actually the largest, one of the second largest PTA organization in the nation, with over 500,000 members. This group is no longer the Cookie Moms, as they developed a powerful advocacy and lobbying record. The conversation was about finding common ground between PTAs and public schools, and we had conversation around getting ready for the 87th legislative session, which will start up in January of 2021, which is roughly a year from now. Think about that, it'll go fast. So just a few of the topics discussed. We talked about House Bill 3 cleanup. House Bill 3 had lots of gifts. We're still sort of peeling the layer of that onion back, but we now have mandatory pre-K, full-day pre-K, and we're also funded for half-day. We also have mandatory reading academies for every single one of our K through 3 teachers and administrators that we also have to fund. We talked about additional funding for SEL, or the social emotional learning, now also required. And we have grants we can apply for, but there's no guaranteed funding for that. We need more substantial funding for safety and security requirements, again, versus grants that we could apply for. Special education funding expansion, middle school CTE funding flexibility. As you can see, funding was obviously a central theme. House Bill 3 helped us, but here in Texas, we are still significantly lagging in our state funding in terms of where we fall. We're still in the lower quadrant of states, of what states provide for public schools across the country. We also discussed the increase in stress and anxiety seen in our student population and the work that needs to be done to build resiliency and empathy in our schools. We talked about creating a culture of voting in our schools and community, not so much about endorsing candidates, but just creating a culture where educators go out and vote. We tend to vote for pro-education candidates, obviously. We talked about the importance of the upcoming Census 2020 and how important that is for a fast-growing state like Texas, again, which will significantly impact funding. One of the most underreported groups is the 0 through 5 group, so we will begin some campaigns across our schools and campuses to get folks out for the Census 2020. And then we talked about creating a family engagement culture that truly lifts our schools to foster a common mission, grow responsible, informed, well-educated students with a servant heart. And then finally, my last update is about our strategic planning update. Finally, I promise it's coming to an end. We are gearing up for our final retreat scheduled for December the 3rd, which is the Tuesday after returning from Thanksgiving break. And we very much look forward to presenting the draft of that plan to the Board of Trustees in December the 16th at our next board meeting. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you so much. So lots of stuff going on. Now we'll move on to recognition. The first one will be the one and only you, Inspired Rock Garden at the primary school.
Good evening, Dr. Woods, Mrs. Purple, members of the board. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the primary art teacher here at Lvisd. This year I was asked to head up our beautification committee for the first time. And as we met, we decided we wanted to start with building a rock garden out in the front of the school to help beautify our school. And I also wanted to recognize two instrumental families, but unfortunately they had to leave out a little early because of a loss in the family, so we'll make sure we recognize them later. We decided on a painted rock garden inspired by the children's book Only One You by Linda Kranz. The message of the story is there's only one you in this great big world, and make it a better place. Students, teachers, staff members, all painted rocks to place out in the garden. We wanted the lesson to focus on being proud of who you are and your uniqueness, and at the same time by doing good for others by beautifying our campus. Our goal is to continue to add to this rock garden and build on the lesson of making the world a better place by incorporating some kindness rocks that the students will paint in the near future, as well as adding the board member recognition rocks presented to honor the board members last year. When they say it takes a village, it truly does. Tonight, we wanted to honor those two families that were instrumental in helping make this all come to fruition. Mike and Tracy Keelick, Russell and Christy Mayer. These families eagerly jumped in at the opportunity to help our rock garden vision come to life by supplying all the materials, rocks needed for our painted rock garden, and even more. These students enjoyed their rock painting, and we all can't wait to see the beauty these rocks bring to brighten up the front of our campus. So there's some pictures just to kind of show you guys some of their creations.
Very nice.
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Next item will be Iris Seal, primary school educator and master gardener.
All right, good evening, Dr. Wood, Mrs. Burkle, and members of the board. This evening I come to you to honor a very special lady. Mrs. Iris Seal has devoted 22 years to the students of Livonia in various capacities. She taught for 12 years as a teacher and then curriculum director. Most recently, she has volunteered for 10 years at the primary campus building our gardening program as a master gardener. What started as a small one garden bed activity has now grown into a school-wide program. With the help of parent volunteers, the community, and master gardeners, there are now 30 square gardens, 2 keyhole gardens, 25 container gardens, and a certified butterfly garden where each year the students can witness the complete life cycle of the monarch butterfly, in addition to numerous other insects. This April, the gardens will host the 5th annual Ladybug Release, where the entire primary campus will participate. In addition to gardening, Mrs. Seal has ensured Texas history stays alive at the primary through the planting of an oak tree that was grown from an acorn of the Deaf Smith oak. Just a little history lesson. In 1835, Deaf Smith, a scout for General Sam Houston, used the oak tree to spy on Santa Anna's troops, which were camped out near the Cibolo Creek. The primary tree was transplanted on November 18, 2007, and now stands proudly near the front of our car line. This summer, Iris made the difficult decision to retire from her full-time volunteering. She has left a legacy in the hearts and minds of everyone at our campus. Because of this, we honor her. To ensure that her legacy lives on, Livonia Primary is declaring November 18th Iris Seal Day. Each year on November 18th, we will encourage our students and teachers to plant seeds of kindness and live a life of service, just like Iris. Iris, we want to thank you for your impact on the students and the community because it lives on. So thank you.
And there's a picture over there of the Deaf Smith Oak, and the children know what the Deaf Smith Oak is, and they know the story behind it. So, and the seats, I'm very close to one of the school board members.
Yes, so thank you, thank you.
He knows about the drinks. All right. You did good.
Thank you so much. Our next recognition will be the tennis team. Coach Cooper, Coach Edwards.
Dr. Wood, Ms. Sparkle, Board of Trustees, first of all, I want to thank y'all for recognizing our student athletes, and that's exactly how we treat them as student athletes. The work schedule that these young ladies and men have are exceptional. They practice in the mornings and afternoons, they run on the weekends, they play tournaments on the weekends, they get home late at night, and then they are awesome students in the classroom. And that's what makes me the most proud is the excellence they have in their GPAs and their course load and being able to handle that and manage that. That's what we're trying to develop for the future. We're trying to develop strong young adults go into the real world, able to manage a schedule and be successful in everything they do. And that's what these kids have done. I'm going to let Coach Edwards kind of talk about the season. We're very proud. Every year we strive to be #1 in the state in the Lone Star Cup. Last year we were in the top 10, and we're headed in the same direction right now with all the success we've had with our fall sports, which just ended last Friday. Winter sports are kicking off, and then we'll get into the spring, and we're excited about the Livonia Bears. So, Coach Edwards.
Board, thank you for having us tonight. The one thing that really separates this group from a lot of other groups that I've coached is they battled from day one, from practices against each other to 6As and 5As that started off our season. We played 13 matches this year. There are 19 matches within a match. Of those 13, 5 of them were decided in a 10-9 fashion, either way, in our favor or not. But that's a little over a third of our matches. They were willing to go toe-to-toe with some of the best teams in the state, including the defending and now current state champion in 4A ranks. But these guys, we were the regular season district champions. We were number 2 out of district. We lost a 10-9 final, and we are the only District 30 team to win a playoff match this year. And we went 3 rounds to the regional quarterfinals. So These guys do it in the classroom, they've done it on the courts, and they've been fantastic, and we're looking forward to a really strong spring season. Thank you again for having us.
Now we have cross country.
I didn't see when he came in. We were trying to find him. Coach Elizondo took over for us as a head cross-country coach this year, and also does our head basketball, does a phenomenal job of both. And I'll tell you, these kids, they're there almost before me in the morning running, and they're after school run. I don't know how they run that much, but I know they had a very, very successful season. We're very excited about the youth that we have right now, and how many we got coming back, and then track season around the corner. So it's going to be a good year. And Coach Elizondo will tell you about the season.
Well, Board, thank you for having us here. It's a pleasure just to be here in your presence and you allowing us and recognizing us tonight. Can't say how much importance that is to me, and more importantly to them. I'm not used to having my back to people, so I shake a little bit when I talk. Just kidding. But anyway, I can go down the line and talk about each and one of these, but it would take me evening after evening. They're amazing from start to finish. We are there before Coach Taylor gets there, just so you know. But the accountability, having someone that's been coaching for a long time, and you get a new head coach, and you know, coming here, and even though there's some similarities and things, there's always things that are changing. There's always things that you try new, and they adapted to all of it. And at first it was like, wow, who's this loud guy coming in down the hallway, you know? And it took a little while, but after we got running, it was just tremendous how far they've gone. We had a bunch of top 25 runners. Again, this is the 10th time in a row that we win district, both varsity and JV boys. It was their 10th district title in a row consecutively. Some of the guys are wearing the shirts, Decade of Dominance. We had a very young girls team. We were a little light on numbers. We had some that got injured. And that affected us later on, but we have some tremendous youth. We have, I'll bring up Casey Angahusa right here. She's a small little package of just running power. So she's absolutely amazing. She's a senior. She's done really well for us in many ways, leadership-wise, just understanding the sport, and very proud of her. And actually, after district, we went to the regionals, and I don't know if some of you have been to a cross-country meet, but it's ready, set, go, and when they say go, it's like when you step on an ant pile. I mean, there's just 100, you know, regionals was 181 runners. Casey was 30 out of those 181 in regionals. That puts numbers in perspective. We have a freshman, Cindy Escamilla, who has shocked me tremendously because she was at the top of every race and chasing Casey, and they were chasing each other and pushing each other all year long. She was 39th as a freshman out of 181 runners in regionals, which is pretty amazing. On the boys' side, and like I said, I'm jumping around here because you mentioned some names already with UIL and Reese Smith and Abner. All these guys are multi, just you name it, they're in it, and they're kicking tail every single day. We had Abner Cassiano, who's a sophomore this year, who was at one point ranked in the region. Braden Denson, who's not here, he had to leave for another obligation, who's been running with us also since he was a freshman, and he just gets out there and goes, and they all do, and I can't say how proud I am. Like, again, I can go on and on and on, but I do want to mention, and I'd like you to step forward, Caitlin Bighack and Lena De La Fuente. The reason I'm asking them to step forward is we talk about academics, we talk about push, we talk about challenges, and we have the number 1 and number 2 student in the room with us right now. So you see them on our room trips, we're all, you know, let's go, and we're having it, and there's Lena and Caitlin in the hallway doing their homework and fighting for 1 and 2 over there. But it's a pleasure for me, because like I said, I couldn't ask for a better group of boys and girls, and all year long they just continue to amaze me. They make me a better person every day, so There's your cross-country team.
Could we also have our parents of our tennis and cross-country folks stand up? Acknowledge you two.
Next item is teaching and learning new sports, spot between counties.
Good evening, President Burkle, Dr. Wood, and members of the board. As you know, we've been working really hard for the past couple of months in partnership with Channel 4 and David Chancellor to have our health sciences students featured on his Go Public with David Chancellor segment. I could not be more excited to be here to help host our first ever Go Public with David Chancellor watch party. So at 6:35 p.m., just a few minutes ago, this segment went live with David Chancellor on News 4. It's now live on his Facebook page and other pages as well. So we are going to watch it right now. So Lisa, can we get that queued up?
To see the work environment and
Will you
everything
start it over,
else
Lisa?
we do, and I think it's helped reinforce all of our IQ.
It has the sights and sounds of a TV show. This is real. Real hospital, real patients, and yes, real students, as in high school students.
All of us want to go into the medical field, and so this is just a great way for us to get opportunities actually in a hospital and getting to see the work environment and everything that we can possibly do, and I think it's helped reinforce all of our ideas on what we want to go into in the future.
Hi, I'm Sierra. We're students from Lavernia High School. We're here to take care of you.
Talk about best and brightest. These are seniors from Lavernia High School, and this is the signature class in the health science program. Their students spend part of their day getting hands-on experience at the Conley Medical Center in Floresville.
For years now, we've had nursing students come, radiology tech students come, and we wanted to branch out to our community and have high school students interested in our hospital. Most of the time, the patients are absolutely willing to allow that to happen. They want to see new and upcoming nurses and doctors and techs, and so they're always willing to give the students an opportunity.
What is your pain on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say a solid 6.
This gives me experience that some other people that might be trying to go into medical school won't have. So that gives me the edge over some other people and gives me that opportunity.
When they say experience, how hands-on are we talking? Let's put it this way. Every student is a certified medical assistant.
In the emergency room, they get to assist with anything. If we were to have a resuscitated patient, they might get to do CPR. They do EKGs, put patients on the monitors, and then OR, they're actually getting to observe surgery.
We do it one step at a time. We start them off from the bottom, show them just the basics, and then we just gradually move on.
They give us the freedom, if we're not comfortable with something, we get to step back. So again, that's still part of the learning process, learning where we're comfortable and what we want to do. So if we ever get overwhelmed, we're allowed to step back and just kind of take a minute for ourselves.
That doesn't happen often, because by the time they get here, they've been trained in all aspects of the medical field. Basic health care, to insurance, to on-site internships. But working at Conley is something completely different, because it not only teaches students about medicine, it teaches them about people.
A big thing for me is compassion and being polite and kind towards everyone. You don't know what they're going through or what led them to come here, so you just want to treat everyone with an open mind and open heart so that they feel that they're getting the best care possible.
Best education possible, too. The program was designed and is taught by Joe Carranza, who is a retired captain in the Army, and he served an extended tour in Iraq. He said it's his job to be as real as possible, and the stories that he shares are designed to make sure students are ready for whatever they face. Be sure to check out the best stories from area public schools every Monday on the evening break. Follow Go Public on social media at go public. Thank you, Chancellor. Use 4 seconds.
Can we give those students a round of applause? So I just want to give a shout out to Coach Carranza, Wanda Johnson-Noah, Jackie Simmons, Principal Casa, those employees, those people who are dedicated every single day to giving our students the best of our best, making sure that they have every chance they need to succeed, to be future ready moving forward. They made this a layup project for me. And of course, our students. You can see in the clip, they are shining stars, and we're excited to have more and more opportunities as part of this partnership to feature more and more of our kiddos. So thank you so much to the students, to the parents who supported them as we did this, and again to all those staff that I mentioned who made this possible. It was a team effort, and it's really exciting to be a part of. So thank you very much.
Great job.
Thank you.
Great job.
Next item is the NASA High School Aerospace Scholarship Program.
Good evening, Mrs. Burkle, Dr. Wood, board, and community members. I'm really excited to recognize that we actually have 3 scholars that I'm going to recognize tonight. Unfortunately, one of them couldn't be here with us. But I have Jim Garcia and Madigan Christensen, and they were accepted into the NASA High School Aerospace Scholars Program, which is a really prestigious program. They had to complete a lengthy application, which was very rigorous and competitive. They have to complete 8 projects through Canvas. It's just an incredible honor to be selected, but one of the coolest things about this program is these students, if they complete those projects, will actually be eligible to work at NASA Space Center, Johnson Space Center in Houston this summer for an internship. They're having to do all this work independently outside of school. I also want to recognize Mrs. Hay and Finn Burmeister Morton. They were not able to be here tonight, but just an incredible amount of work, an incredible honor, and we're so proud of you all. Y'all want to say anything? Thank you. Next, I would like to call forward, we have some special guests here from the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 837. If I can have Commander Rodriguez, Senior Vice Commander Utley, and President Jackson, if you'll please come join me. So it's just a real honor to have the VFW Post 837 here with us. We're really excited about this partnership, and we talk a lot about bringing community into our school and really strengthening that relationship, and this is just a great example of that. Of course, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, they support veterans and their spouses. They promote patriotism and citizenship with our youth. And this, at our Veterans Day ceremony, they actually participated in our ceremony, and they donated 108 flags to the school. You might have noticed the flags going down 775, and in front of our buildings, they donated 108 flags on a Saturday afternoon and came up here and worked with our kids. We're just incredibly grateful. We know there's a lot y'all doing as far as there's some great essay contests, there's some great art competitions, also just some great mentorship that we're looking forward to doing with our students, and just really promoting patriotism and citizenship and bringing it to life with some real heroes. So we thank y'all so much for your service, and we're just excited about this partnership.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John Rodriguez, Commander of Post 837. We are a charitable nonprofit organization. We work hard continuously to raise money and funds to do programs like this. We raise money, we donate to the veterans in the community, and this being Laverne here, Mr. Senior Bob Utley and his daughter Elizabeth Jackson, they're from this area, and they reach out over to Post 837 over on East South Cross and W.W. White Road. So yes, this is their area, and we are going to keep coming to you guys, and we're going to keep helping you all out whenever you need it. So thank you very much for this. I'll let Elizabeth, our president.
Good evening, everyone. It is truly an honor to be here, and we do appreciate the recognition. Yes, Livonia is home. My son Colby is a recent graduate as of last year of Livonia High. Just to let y'all know, we got parents and we got kiddos here. The VFW, we do scholarships. We have 2 scholarship programs. One is known as the Voice of Democracy. That is for the high school students, freshman through senior. Patriots Pen is for our junior high students. Also in the springtime, we do a patriotic art competition. So we do what we can to foster learning and to help our kids, like I said, grow up to be young, respectable, mature, responsible adults in society. For those going forward, I'm glad to see some of the things that Livonia ISD does. I wish they did that kind of stuff when I could be in school. But for those that are that had just graduated, and to let y'all know, that way if y'all know of any, we also do a nursing scholarship. So the VFW is a place to where if you got kids going into school, things like that, and they're looking for scholarships, we will bring the materials to you so that we can get this word out and work hand in hand with the kids, because we also want to recognize them for all the hard work that they do, not only scholarly, but in the community as well. And again, like I said, we thank you for the recognition, and we look forward to continuing our partnership with Livonia ISD. I know, like make you with that. Thank you very much.
Discussion and report items. The monthly financial report is followed.
Good evening, this is Rachel, Dr. Good, and Board of Trustees. I'm presenting to you our first quarter monthly financial report for the general fund. The results for our overall revenues, local, state, and federal, are a little bit short of our budgeted amount. Keep in mind the budget plans for each month were based on a 3-year historical trend. This is primarily due to our local tax collection, timing of local tax collections. We've received our tax collection report from Wilson County for the taxes collected in October. That 9.9 million was collected in October that we received in November. About just over 7 million of that is imminent. Our expenses, we are still showing a significant favorable variance. It's about $349,000 in expenses. However, something that I want to point out is we are not currently accruing payroll because our system's not calculating it correctly. So that favorable variance is a little bit misleading right now. We're working closely with Region 20 to update the system. It's an automatic entry that's done each month to accrue payroll for our teachers primarily. So teachers do not work 2 months in the summer, but we pay them
12 months so that they don't go without paycheck for those 2 months. Essentially, we have to book the expense for the 10 months that they're working now, and then we would pay it out to them over a longer period of time. That accrual currently has not been posted, primarily because there's a system issue, so hopefully we'll have that worked out by next month. We had, in addition to that, we had $85,700 budgeted for projects that were done in prior years. One was termite remediation, and the other was for HVAC work done at the junior high. Those items will be reallocated to current projects, current needs. Specifically, we have some significant HVAC needs at the primary campus, so that funding will be allocated. I want to be very straightforward with you about this. Don't read too far ahead. Let me talk for a second. If you recall, back in August, we amended the budget to incorporate what we felt was a very conservative estimate for House Bill 3 impact. Those templates and those estimates have continued to change and evolve over time. And currently, as of today, it looks like the revenue that is going to be provided to us as a result of House Bill 3 will be less than what we had anticipated at the time that we amended the budget. About $600,000 less. We're not the only district experiencing this. We talked to other districts in the state who also had very conservative estimates, felt they were very conservative based on the templates that were available at the time, and they're running into the same challenge. That said, you'll also hear when our auditor presents our annual financial report that our fund balance is less than ideal, less than the 3 months operating. So I want to be very straightforward that we, and I think we all knew that we needed to really have a lean year. But I would like to request that the board consider a budget work session in January, the last week of January, to evaluate where we're at mid-year and strategize with our district leadership, our principals, our directors on how we can, in the long term, be financially more stable. Are there any questions on the report?
But we're still, talking about the HB3. Have you gotten any of the information out on the GT and figures and selects? There's a whole bunch of other mandates that we were, so is that still in process, or are we getting more information?
We have been getting more information, and I am working on interpreting all of that information. We will be required to spend a certain amount of funding allocated on those programs, and that will be an amendment that I bring to you in the future.
So when we meet in January, go through where we stand, and hopefully by then we'll have a little bit clearer picture as to what those allocations are as well, and be able to forecast into the future a little better.
My expectation is that the majority of the updates for House Bill 3 will be out this month in November, and I'm hoping that December will be able to process a lot of that information and then have a better understanding of how we can move forward in January. And despite or regardless of what that looks like, if it ends up being that we were spot on with our original budget estimate, I still think it's a very valuable discussion to look at what we can do strategically going forward to meet the very severe needs that we face as a district, the HVAC, the buses that need to be replaced, and building back up that fund balance, make sure that all of our leadership understands what we're challenged with and contributes to finding the solution.
Thank you so much. item is the waiver.
So as we shared with you earlier, in the year, we are required to provide a full-day pre-K opportunity for our students who are eligible for pre-K. And we came to you and asked for an opportunity to apply for a waiver to be exempt from that requirement. And so as a part of applying for the waiver, the expectation was that we would reach out and meet with area child care centers, and we did that. We sent out an invitation individually to every child care center in the area, and we had 5 child care owners actually attend our session. And thanks to Shelley Keck and her team, Wendy Pruitt, Debbie Casey, several folks, Roseanne Armendaris, Dana Grubb, and a number of folks. Ms. Janasek joined us for that day. We explained to our daycare owners our new obligation. I was surprised many of these child care centers are fearful that we're going to put them out of business. I'm hopeful that our meeting, we extended sort of a hand to say we very much want to partner with you. So we explained our burden, and we had discussion points. We talked about just partnership willingness. A part of that is these child care centers would have to fall and meet TEA requirements for providing services, so that puts a little burden on them. Partnership feasibility, we want to be sure that these folks have space, bathrooms, do they prepare food on campus, all of those sorts of things that we're expected to do for our students. We need a facility that has accreditation status, specific teacher certification. They asked for some specific information, like what that long-term commitment might look like, some sample MOUs. They had some good questions on insurance and liability, all of those pieces. So basically what we asked for was for these child care centers to respond to us by the end of the day this past Friday with their intent to just explore a potential partnership. And again, we're not talking about a timeline right now because we are still learning about the requirements, and they're obviously checking to see what it would take for them to become accredited and all of those pieces. So I came to you and asked for a 1-year waiver. I think that was probably a little ambitious on my part. So we are probably going to come to you in the next few months after we've gotten some sample MOUs from some school districts who have already worked through some of the kinks of this process. And we will likely come to you requesting a 3-year waiver for full compliance of obligating with this new requirement, so that we can explore. We have our own challenges with facilities in terms of space, in terms of teachers, and even programming to some extent. So we did have 3 areas, I don't know if I said that or not, we had 3 organizations that did get back to us that they are interested in exploring partnerships. Regardless of that, we will extend invitations to all of the child care staff. We will extend an invitation for any sort of professional development that we do moving forward. So we did commit to that so that we can begin to build those partnerships, sharing resources and those sorts of things. So that is the update. UK waiver. Are there any questions about?
What is TEA allowing for the number of years for waivers? Just 3 years?
They will actually allow a 3-year waiver, and at the end of that 3-year waiver, they will allow 1 more 3-year waiver. So essentially that's 6 years, and if you think about it, we'll have 2 legislative sessions between now and the end of the next 6 years. So things could drastically change. The other big piece here is that they're still funding us at half day. So even though we're required to provide full day, we're still only collecting half day ADA on our pre-K students. So we would have to obviously find other revenue sources to make this work.
It's really interesting seeing on these meetings because we had, ideas of what would be, we were looking at space and numbers and things like that. And other directors that came in brought up of, oh, what about insurance, what about business, I suppose we need to think about that. And so there's a lot more to it, there's a lot of moving parts to this that we're going to have to look at.
Yeah, and learn from those other places we've already worked through some of these kinks. So there are a number of districts, mostly our larger districts in the area, who already provide full-day pre-K. Northside, Northeast, San Antonio. So we've got some great examples to work from. Any other questions or comments?
So this requirement began and is required for this school year, that's
September.
starting last September. And we're meeting those obligations, correct?
Yes, we have a waiver, and we're providing half-day programming. What we will probably likely do is talk about some feasibility for offering some possible full-day slots, but we just need to talk about that as a whole. But there might be some students who are needier than other students. So, do know that. We'd like to thank Ms. Yonisek for serving on that committee with us. It's been a lot of time and discussions. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. The next item is the LVIS Citizenship Task Force.
Good evening, Mr. Bolt, Dr. Wood, and members of the board. This is an initiative that we're really excited about. We're here to talk to you about the Livonia ISD Digital Citizenship Task Force, and what we hope will be a long-term sustainable plan to promote digital citizenship, not just with our students, but with our staff and with our community as well. I'll introduce my colleagues in a moment, but I just want to say that digital citizenship is not just about being safe online. It is important for us to promote student safety no matter where our students are, no matter what space they're inhabiting. We know that this is kind of crucial. On the holidays, we're going to have students who are going to be inhabiting their cell phones for weeks at a time. But it's not just about being safe online, it's about working with our students, working with their teachers, working with their parents to learn how to become more thoughtful and empathetic citizens in kind of the world around them, in both the digital and the real social sphere. We want our kiddos to be thoughtful and empathetic as they engage with others, to make choices in those digital spaces that are rooted in empathy, and that are rooted in critical thinking and the ability to care for others, whether they're behind a screen or not. So that's what this is about. It's about working together, collaborating with our community. That's the vision, to collaborate with our community to promote that thoughtful and empathetic focus, no matter where our students, teachers, and staff and families are, whether they're online or not. So this task force will be comprised of our fearless leader, is our Livonia ISD Director of Technology, Angela Turner. She knew I was going to say that, I promise. And her fearless colleague in the technology department, our what's your title? It's 1,000. Our technological genius and do-it-all techno wonder, Ms. Valerie R. Our Director of Safety and Security, Mr. Mike Duffett. Our Executive Director of Human Resources and Administrative Services, Mr. Max Flores. Our All Things Math and Science, Mrs. Dana Grubb. Curriculum, all things. Okay. And then our Parent and Family Engagement Coordinator, Ms. Bonnie Heron. So we put together the task force that brings in safety and parent engagement and technology and curriculum and communications, because all of those things have a hand in what our students are doing on those technological devices and in those digital spaces every day. So we're trying to take this on head on and to make it really collaborative and about the good of our students, both our current and future generations of students and their families. So now I will turn it over.
All right, so the diagram I have up for you here is really to have a great digital citizenship action plan. We need to have 4 big pieces in this puzzle. And so the 4 big pieces, if you can look right up here at the green piece, if you scroll down just a little. So the 4 big pieces, I'm going to kind of go over each one. The first first one, of course, is our infrastructure. So here, we are actually looking at all of our SB 820 compliance pieces, and we do have a new network manager on staff. His name is Gabriel San Miguel. He's coming to us out of Northside ISD, so he's doing amazing work. We are actually going to be taking the network down on Friday and bringing it back up on Monday because we need to do some server software updates. So that's going to put us in compliance with all the things we need to have in place, like our firewall, our filter, and those pieces there. So that's all the infrastructure and how it fits into digital citizenship. That second piece that we have there is going to be the curriculum component and the integration component. So you'll notice those pieces in purple. Those are things that we are currently and have been working on with integration. We are actually designing and delivering content through the K-5 computer courses, also at the junior high and the high school level. So those are things we are doing there. In addition to putting classroom management tools in place for teachers, so we manage our Chromebooks through the Chromebook domain. And then we also have JAMP to manage our mobile device management system for all of our iPads. So that kind of helps us see what students are doing and push out specific items to them. So working with both Dana and with Valerie, we're able to build that content and that curriculum and also help teachers with that in the training component. And then that third piece there is going to be the campus level and the HR level. So working with HR and the principals, we're able to ensure that we have the AUPs in place and the code of ethics is signed, and that we have procedures in place for students and for the teachers while they're doing these pieces. So we're working on that component. And then, of course, the fourth piece to this puzzle is going to be your parent and your student and your guardian component, and that's where Mike and Bonnie come into play as well. But you'll notice down the side, we have that one theme that's pretty consistent in all four pieces, and that consistent theme is our digital citizenship piece. And so that is something that this task force is visioning at this time. So truly, we want to vision this out and have a good plan of action so that we not only create a foundation, but we leave a legacy for what digital citizenship looks like and it is for Livonia ISD. Do y'all have any questions about it?
So is this interaction with, like computers and stuff while you're in the classroom, going through curriculum, research papers, it's that interaction in the classroom?
Correct, so that's a component of it, correct.
Okay.
But, you know, teaching citizenship from pre-K through 5, that's all already embedded, but now with the evolution of technology and integration, we have to also focus on digital citizenship. So it's just everyday teachable moments. So our teachers need to model best practices and behavior as well.
So this will touch on, I mean, how they interact on social media type stuff.
Absolutely.
On their personal devices, sitting at the house.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
And currently in our curriculum component at the primary campus and at the intermediate campus, they actually cover in their computer rotation, we have a lot of lessons that cover digital citizenship, and we get those lessons from either TCEA or Common Sense Learning, and they focus on social media or how to act online in those pieces. So they're already embedded in our curriculum.
I mean, when you leave that fingerprint in there digitally, I mean, you think you deleted it or whatever, but
right.
Man, I don't even have a great appreciation for what that could do to you in the future from a job standpoint, interview, people, I mean, just the impact that it can have on your life, on the decisions, as you said, the decisions that you make now, unsure of what's going on. So I appreciate y'all doing that.
Perfect.
And you said there's been a parent component too, right? And what's that going to kind of look like in your?
So we're hoping to actually start some technology training courses for parents, and they can come either in person or we can host them remotely as well, because we do have a Vimeo subscription, so we can post that online for parents to join in. So just growing our parents' knowledge base of being a good digital citizen. Last summer we actually did, or not last summer, the summer before, we did a digital citizenship poster contest, and that ran through the summer. It was posted on our website. So we had some students participate in that as well. So we truly just need to get the message out about, one, what is digital citizenship, and two, how can I model it at home for my students?
Red flags to look for too.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. For the parent side, because so many things are hidden anymore, will there be just kind of like tips of, okay, well, this is what's
Absolutely. So in our plan, we'll have not only those training pieces, but we can do the newsletter and our YouTube channel will repost things as well. So we're trying to grow that capacity and have the resources available for parents.
We want there to be a modeling component for parents too, meaning that parents can model what it means to be a digital citizen at home. So we want to help them learn what does it mean to use this social media application in a way that is thoughtful and empathetic. Because we want it to not just to be a list of don'ts and a list of scary red flags, but a list of do's. What are the things I can do proactively at home every day to model what it means to be empathetic and almost strategic, right, in my thoughtfulness online. So I might be able to expect at this point negativity in some kind of comment section on a social media app. How can I be strategic and thoughtful before I even get there, and then show my student at home how to do the same?
You mentioned the primary intermediate schools, and as Mr. Reed was talking about, the things that you're posting for jobs or scholarships could be for college applications and stuff. Do you have any components that you're really pushing out to the junior high school kids, because if they're going to be a lot more active on those types of things?
So currently, we have it embedded through the course Ms. Parrish teaches, which is the CCAT, the CCAT, which is the Career and Technology course. So that is embedded in there, and at the end of 8th grade, all of our students do take a test through TCEA, and that test kind of measures their knowledge of being a digital citizen as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sounds like a great program. Really excited about what you all are putting together. I think it's fantastic. You really have to build the foundation for our students, especially our younger students. What about, encouraging at times to disconnect, to put the phone down, take a break, look up? I mean, is there a component or a piece to that as well?
So we do have it. It's funny, we actually have some signs in our office about that, address that. At the high school and junior high, we actually launched a Eyes on Task, Mind on Task initiative this year. So it's truly helping students realize that they need to keep their eyes on the task at hand. And hopefully that, goes down to texting and driving as well. So they keep that mindset of knowing that they need to get something done, and it doesn't require a digital device, then they have that device put away. So our teachers here at the high school and at the junior high bought into that. Every teacher has that poster in their classroom, and they're holding each other accountable. So if they walk to their neighboring teacher's classroom and see students are on devices and they're not supposed to be, they'll tell them something. So that's the piece we have in place right now, but we do plan to grow that as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much to all of you.
That's that modeling piece you're talking about with the parents. Putting your phone down at dinner.
Right.
Those pieces that we're to model and get that information out.
Lead by example.
Exactly.
Yes.
What's your timeline on this process?
So we just had our first meeting with the task team 2 weeks ago. And so this piece is actually something I started building out last year, only to make sure we had everything, all the right components in place. I will say this, in all districts, building a digital citizenship piece takes a lot of time and effort and energy. And if we just throw it out there, Valerie and I were speaking to this today, if we throw it out to the teachers and make them accountable for it, it's just going to fall by the wayside because they're already inundated with a lot of tasks. So we want to make sure that we roll this out in a timely manner so it has effectiveness and it's successful and there's fidelity to it.
And be thoughtful about how we're going to roll it out.
And we're going to have teachers on the committee as well to help us with that process.
So we don't have an exact timeline. Yeah, but it's a priority.
Yes.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
The next item is the facilities assessment. Let's do that.
Good evening, Ms. Burkle. So I'm going to take tonight to share a small update with our facility assessment. So far, we've started with, we started early in October with our data collecting, interviews, and documentation. That went really well. They received all the surveys back from all the campuses. The next phase that we've already started and we're near completion is the assessment part of it. So what was involved with the assessment was, and it started on November 4th, actually a little bit before, we We gave them all of our blueprints. They went through everything. I've been really impressed by the thoroughness of this assessment. So November 4th, we started basically like a kickoff of the assessment. We had an interview meeting with PBK and MEP engineers. And I also had key maintenance staff there. So I had our plumber there, our electrician, HVAC, and also technicians that have been with the district for a long time. People that would know if there's issues, stuff that they deal with on a regular basis. That way we can identify it and note it and get a plan together. So that went really well. It was actually it was planned for like a 5-hour meeting. Turned out to be about a 9-hour meeting. So it was very good. Then the next day after that, November 5th, we started our walkthroughs of the campuses. So we walked every inch of this district. Every door was unlocked and looked at and assessed. So I got my steps in that week. I cleared out my week and we walked it. And a lot of good things. We got a lot. It was a very good assessment. So in addition to that assessment, we also had we had architects. We had architects there. We had MEP engineers, and then also our building envelope inspector that was there. And I also involved our key maintenance staff as well with these walkthroughs. I had our plumber there, our electrician, our HVAC technician, and then some of the maintenance staff that have a lot of history with the district. That way we can really get all the details. November 7th, we had a PBK child nutrition engineer or specialist come by. So we took them to every campus kitchen. We looked at all the equipment, the design, the functionality of it. And they took that assessment along with the coordinator and with the kitchen manager. So far, remaining is we do have a little bit left on the building envelope. What building envelope is basically roof inspections, your outside veneers such as your brick and rock work. You know, they assess all that. So we're almost done with that. Should be scheduled out. Should be tomorrow, I believe. They're coming and they're going to be finalizing that.